guys, and welcome back to my channel, Inside Our Triangle, where we think outside the box. This is Struggle Puff Meal number 9. Today's recipe is going to be how to prepare scrambled eggs 3 different ways. So here are the ingredients that you'll need. You'll need some non-stick spray. I'm using canola. It doesn't matter, you can use any flavor. We're going to get some butter. It could be margarine as well, or even the butter spray, which I always use, but today I'm going to actually use real stick butter. You're going to need some seasoning, your favorite, salt, pepper, and then the star of the show will be eggs. Today I'm going to use medium for the first way to prepare the scrambled eggs, but you can use any size you wish. Large, extra large, jumbo, brown. Eggs? It's completely up to you. It really does depend on how many people you're trying to feed with this particular struggle meal. So, you got your ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and heat up the pan on medium heat because with scrambled eggs, the key is low and slow. Spray it a little bit with the non-stick spray, and then I'll meet you right back here. We'll go ahead and mix up these eggs. Be right back. Okay, so we have our eggs, we have our bowl and our whisk. Now, this is a struggle meal, and struggle meals, they really are indicative of a time when you don't have a lot of money, or you're trying to make a large amount, or even a small amount, and you don't have a lot of ingredients or a lot of money for ingredients. So believe it or not, I did get these eggs from the dollar store, and we're going to make them 3 different ways. I'm sorry, we're going to make scrambled eggs using 3 different techniques. Now, we're going to go ahead and crack 2 eggs for this particular recipe. Egg number 1. Get this out of the way. All right. And egg number 2. Now, when I was about 7 or 8, I asked my mom if I could cook. Because she's a wonderful woman, lovely woman, but my mother hates the kitchen. Seriously. She goes into the kitchen. As soon as she knows the oven is on, she almost faints. And she actually did pass that down to one of her granddaughters. I'm sure more, but the one that I have, she passed that down to her. My child, one of my children, she hates the kitchen. I did teach her how to cook, but she does actually hate going into the kitchen. So when I was about 7 or 8, I asked my mom if I could actually start to learn how to cook. And she told me no. And for a long time, she told me no. And I realized that when she was younger, she got hurt by cooking in the kitchen. I believe she burnt her legs. So I guess she was a little weary about letting her oldest step out there and start to cook. So I went to my aunt's house, and I stayed there for the summer one year, and I asked my aunt, you guys know I have to bang the camera, so that was the first time, but I asked my aunt if I could learn how to cook, and she said yes. I guess she double checked with my mom. Hold on, let me get a teaspoon, because we're going to need a teaspoon of water. And if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I'm not really a big measurement person when it comes to cooking. Baking, you have to be a measurement person. But not really with cooking. You can kind of add and subtract however and make it taste the way you want it to taste. So we need 2 half teaspoons of water, which would make 1 whole tablespoon. But I'm getting fancy here just for the camera. Okay, so as you can see, I added salt, I added pepper. You can use whatever seasoning you wish, but those 2 should be your guiding force. So we're just going to mix that all together here. Remember, I have my pan that I've sprayed. It's on a medium heat. This is all nice and scrambled. Okay, I'll finish the story in just a second. Okay, so the pan is now nice and medium warm. Let's go ahead and carefully put the eggs into the pan. That's in. Okay, let's get a nice wooden spoon and a touch of butter. And we'll go ahead and start scrambling. Now, back to the story. So I believe after my aunt double checked with my mother, she taught me how to make scrambled eggs. She said this was very easy and this was a great way how to learn how to cook. So, we're going to take the eggs. We're going to put this heat on medium. Remember, it's got to be low and low. And then you are going to just make movements in. And as you can see, it's already starting to curdle up a little bit. So that means I need to turn my heat down a little bit more. And I may even take it off of the heat because this looks almost about ready. I am going to take it off the heat. Let's keep this in mind always. Eggs will continue to cook in the pan. Okay? Out the heat, they're still cooking. We always like ours a little loose. So let's go ahead and plate this up. This is the first way we scramble eggs. Be right back. And just that fast, scrambled eggs, scrambled soft, are done. I'm just going to add a touch of pepper over the top. You don't have to do this, but I do like black pepper. And we're going to sprinkle just a touch of cheese. Now, you don't have to do this as well. They are perfectly good without the cheese, but I like to add a sprinkle. Well, my husband, when we first met, he did not like eggs at all. Ever since he was a kid, he could not stand eggs. Then I made these eggs for him, and he has not turned back. So this is eggs scrambled easy. This is the first thing that I made when I was about 9. It took my mother, she let me start cooking when I was about 9. So this is the first meal that I ever made, and these are the only way I like my eggs. Here is your bite. Okay, the eggs are nice and fluffy. They're really soft. Season them any way you wish. Now, usually at this point, I say, and here's my bite. But for some reason, and I can't figure out why, I guess it's just coming with age here, my taste buds have changed. I no longer like, and forget my nail, it popped off right when I pushed the button for the camera just now. My taste buds have changed. I don't like the smell of eggs anymore. I don't want to eat eggs anymore. So hopefully they'll change back. My taste buds will. Because now all of a sudden I'm liking blue cheese. And I never liked blue cheese my entire life. So I guess I swapped out one for the other. So I am going to give these to my daughter, my oldest daughter. She's here from work. And she's going to eat these in like 2 seconds. So this is scrambled eggs, scrambled hard. I apologize, scrambled soft. I don't scramble my eggs hard. Okay, there we go. On to number 2. Okay, so we're now going to do the technique number 2. So for this one, you're going to need eggs. Remember, the eggs are the star of the show for this particular video. Then you're going to need non-stick spray. Again, it doesn't have to be canola. It can be any particular flavor as long as it's non-stick spray. You'll need some butter. Do you need butter? No, you can use margarine, but butter is good as well. Any of your seasonings that you prefer. Salt, pepper, seasoning salt. It's up to you. And then we're going to add cheese this time. Cheese. You can use shredded cheese, or I actually have a slice of cheese on hand, so we're going to use this instead. Technique number 2, you need a frying pan. Do not turn the heat on yet. Take your frying pan, and we're going to spray it with the nonstick spray. Okay? Let's go ahead and move over to the stove. Do not turn your heat on yet. Okay, now that the frying pan is on the stove, but the heat is not on, we'll go ahead and crack our eggs. So this is egg number 1. Let's do egg number 2. This particular technique, I actually learned from my husband. Remember, we talked about this in part 1. That hubby didn't even like eggs before he met me. And I gave him my particular kind of eggs, scrambled soft. Then he had the nerve to take my recipe and make a different technique of his own. Don't forget your salt. A little bit of pepper. I'll bring it back. So season your eggs. A little salt, a little pepper. Now remember in the first one, I added a tablespoon of water. He does not use water in his. So let's give that a really good mix with the whisk. It's seasoned, it's ready. Cold pan. And let's take you over there so we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're actually going to do this in real time. Remember, the pan is still cold. It is not on at all. See, I'm touching it. It's not on at all. All we did was spray the pan. We're going to put a little bit of butter in here. There we go. We have our eggs, and we'll go ahead and put the eggs in. And then if you've got shredded cheese, this is great. Go ahead and put the shredded cheese in. If you've got a slice of cheese, just slice of cheese. Cheese makes everything taste better. We're going to go ahead and just put in little pieces of the cheese. We'll do that now. Okay. You got both, put them both in. Does it have to be American cheese? It does not. Does it have to be cheddar? It does not. Use your favorite cheese. But again, nothing is cooking. It is still a cold pan. Get the rest of this cheese in here. Remember, everything is already seasoned. I'll probably hit it with a touch of salt one more time before I serve it. Alright, cheese is now in. And now, we'll go ahead and turn up the heat. We're going to put that heat on medium heat. So for my stove, it's about a 6. And then we'll go ahead and start stirring. Remember, this is totally different from the previous technique. The previous technique was the pan was already warming at a medium heat, and then we started to stir. This time, it is going to be a cold pan, and then we'll start to stir. So this is technique number 2. I actually did want to show you guys in real time. The eggs are delicious on their own. However, like I said, cheese does make things taste better. So I went on ahead and added the cheese. But if you don't want cheese in your eggs, if you don't have the money right now for cheese, because cheese can be expensive at times, then do this recipe, do the previous recipe, do the recipe that's coming after this without the cheese. It still tastes good. But remember, my family's preferred method is scrambled soft. Scrambled soft, you're going to scramble it in the pan. You're just going to move the eggs around till a little curds form. And then you take it off of the heat and allow the pan to cook the rest of it. So it's going to be like a low and slow cooking. If you like hard scrambled eggs, which a lot of people do. I actually grew up with hard scrambled eggs. My mother made her eggs really hard and scrambled. It kind of looks like popcorn to me, if you ask me. And I don't really like popcorn eggs, so I was so glad when I learned this technique. And this is how I raised my children with this technique. My mother-in-law used to make the hard popcorn scrambled eggs. So I know a lot of people do that. And how do you get to hard? Well, with soft, you're cooking it till the curds are nice and wet and juicy and it's just delicious. Hard, you would take it like an extra 30 seconds, an extra 40 seconds, and that'll make it look kind of like popcorn to me. So as you can see, the eggs are already starting to make the curdles. Again, low and slow is the best method. And as a cook, as a home cook, as a chef, you control the heat. You control your food. So if you see it starting to get too much, turn that heat down. If you see it's not getting there, turn that heat up. You control your recipe. Now let's get a little closer because it's almost ready. Okay. Eggs is one of those wonderful foods that continue to cook in the pan. And that looks great. Okay. I'm going to stop it here. Turn the heat down. I apologize. Turn the heat all the way off. Look at those eggs. Okay, we'll go ahead and transfer it over to the plate. There we go. And I'll meet you right back here. Okay, and looky what we have here. We have scrambled eggs, soft, with cheese, technique number 2. Look at that. Perfectly cooked. Yummy, delicious, cheesy. Did I forget my black pepper? Hold on, I sure did.
Salt and pepper.
Love to top it off with just a touch of black pepper. The cheese is already on the inside. Technique number 2. Let me go ahead and give you your bite. Look at that cheesy goodness. See from this side. My stomach is growling and I can't even eat these eggs. My stomach is growling. There's your bite. And I wish I could have my bite, but I'm actually going to go ahead and give this to hubby. I made him a half smoke to go on the side. A half smoke is almost like a Polish kibasi. If you're not from the DC area, it's almost like a pretty big hot dog, or smoked sausage, but they call it a half smoke. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on a hot dog bun and add that to his meal with some ketchup, and he's going to enjoy this. Okay, so this is technique number 2. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for that last technique. What I need you to do is go ahead and get a pot and boil about half a pot of water. You don't need to season it or anything. You do need to go ahead and get whatever toppings you would like added into your eggs, like chopped tomatoes, chopped onions, a salsa, hot sauce, whatever you like inside your eggs. And here's the thinking outside the box. Get a sandwich bag. You're going to need 1 sandwich bag. Trust me. Technique number 3. Here we go. Okay, if you are still here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel. It's absolutely free. You can just do it by clicking the links below. Just hit like, go ahead and type in a comment, and then hit subscribe. You can also do a notification bell, which will tell you when I am going to be posting new videos. Now, this particular video actually will post September 1st, because starting in September, here we go. You ready? We're going to have a struggle meal September. That's the name of it. So I will be posting a video every single day in the month of September. So get ready for Struggle Meal September. This is going to be the first video. 3 ways to make scrambled eggs using different techniques. So let's go ahead and get started on number 3. So like I mentioned before, you're going to need some eggs. They are the star of this video. So 2 eggs, 4 eggs, however many eggs you need to prepare for the of people you are cooking for. You're going to need whatever toppings you like in your eggs. So I've got some diced tomatoes, diced onions. Then you need your seasoning, salt, pepper, seasoning salt. Up to you. You can use a sliced cheese or a shredded cheese. And then I'm also going to add because my channel, my theme is thinking outside the box. So when I'm a little different, when I have a technique that's a twist to it, then I'm going to add a special pop-up box, and it'll tell you that is the thinking outside the box idea. And for number 3, we're going to use a sandwich bag. Just one sandwich bag. Believe it or not, you can get all of this stuff from the dollar store, and it makes a pretty decent meal. So we've got our water boiling. I'm going to go ahead and crack a couple of eggs in the bowl, whisk, and then I'll meet you right back here. Welcome back. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help the channel so other people can see how to make struggle meals in September. So what did I do off camera? I took the eggs and I seasoned them with my favorite seasoning, salt, pepper, and then I whisked them in the bowl. I also dug out some onions and some chopped tomatoes, and I will place those in the bowl. Please not, want not. Let's go, guys. Let's get that last little bit. Okay. And then we're going to need just a bit of cheese. Totally up to you how much you want to put in there. Remember that we have a pot already on the stove that is boiling. I'm not going to add too much cheese because my sandwich bag is kind of small. I didn't realize that when I was purchasing it. And we're going to give this a quick whisk just to mix all the ingredients. Now what you're going to want to do is after you whisked everything, we're now going to pour this mixture into the sandwich bag. Let's pour it in. You can see all that goodness is trying to get in there. I forgot I have to do it left-handed so you guys can see. But as you can see, it's in there. I'm doing it left-handed. Here we go. You still can't see. Oh, okay. Alright, 2 little chunks of cheese and a couple onions. Let's see if I can do it this way. Come on, slide in there. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now everything is in here. Go ahead and close up the bag. It doesn't have to be airtight, but try to get a lot of the air out and make sure it's completely zipped and closed. Now, what I was taught by my family, who taught me how to cook, as well as in culinary school, make sure that you cook and clean at the same time. That way you don't have to worry about who's washing the dishes, who's cleaning up. You cook and clean at the same time. So I'm going to run some water into the bowl and my whisk. And I'm going to take my rag and wipe up. And then I'm going to take everything over to the stove and we'll see what we're going to do next. I'll be right back. Okay, we're on technique number 3. We've got our water boiling. We've got our sandwich bag full of goodies and we're going to place that into the water. I'm going to do this real time. That boiling water is going to cook our eggs for us. Let me get my spoon so I can move it around just a little bit so you guys can see. But that rolling water that's boiling is going to cook the eggs for us. Okay? So in essence, you're making a boil in a bag. It doesn't take very long. Any of these techniques, as long as you're doing the soft scrambled eggs, they don't take very long. Okay. This could actually end up being an omelet, or if you want to like crunch it up, well not crunch it up, but like chop it up, when you put it on your plate, it'll make some nice scrambled eggs for you. This is a great technique if you've got like a young preteen or a teenager, or even if you're an adult and you're just starting out cooking. This is a great technique. That way you don't have to worry about the frying pan and all that stuff. You just boil some water and place it in a bag. Now, how do you know when it's done? You can see at the very top there, it's still kind of runny. The eggs are still kind of liquefied. So we want to give it a few more seconds. But look down underneath, those eggs look yummy. So let's just give it a few more seconds. Dunk it a little bit. pretty good to me. Look at that. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to turn off my heat. I'm going to straighten up my kitchen to make sure everything is nice and clean. Let this bag cool down just for a second before I place it on the plate. And it's ready to go. And here is the finished product. Now, I didn't want to cheat you guys. I wanted you to actually, instead of me placing it on the plate already, I wanted you to actually see this is it in the bag. Please be careful taking this out of the boiling water. Use tongs, use a big spoon, use whatever you need to take it out. Open up the top. And then you pour your eggs onto the plate. So it's not going to be the prettiest, but here we go. And you see what I'm saying? This could be a perfect little omelet, a beginner omelet for you. Or, let me get a little closer. Okay, there you go. Or, you can chop it up and make this like scrambled eggs. Okay, look at all the flavors we have in here. All the ingredients. The cheese has melted. The tomatoes are warm. The eggs are a little bit wet. I told you guys I do like wet eggs. There's onions in here. Easy. Ready to eat. And it literally only took a few minutes. You're basically just boiling water and you've got a nice meal of scrambled eggs. This is actually technique number 3. Remember that we're starting up a Struggle Meals Saturday. Saturday. Oh my gosh. A Struggle Meals September. We're going to be making struggle meals every single day. Struggle meals is when you don't have a lot of money or you have enough money but you're trying to stretch it. Maybe you've got one person you're cooking for, you're in your dorm room and you want your own food instead of ordering out every day. Or you've got 50 million kids and you need to feed them. That's what struggle meals are for. Okay, so there's your bite. Let's get a little tomato and onion on there. Nice and cheesy. Add extra cheese. Sprinkle some cheese on top. Put a little bit of maybe green onions in there just to give it some color. Usually I would get my bite, but I can't. Not with the eggs. But I'm going to go ahead and give this to my husband or my daughter, whoever wants it. Guys, please remember, these are difficult times with inflation and gas prices and food prices and COVID, which I'm almost completely finally over. So please take care of yourself and one another. Let's take a look at this delicious, delicious meal. Have a blessed day. Oh, don't forget, I always add a video of my grandcats at the end, and this time you guys are going to meet Mac, and she's the oldest grandcat that I have. So enjoy, eat your scrambled eggs, watch the cat video, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow. Bye. And this is Mac. Hi, Mac. She's a rescue. One of my grandcats. My daughter's had her for about 3 years. She's a sweetheart. Hey, Mac. Mac. Say hi. There she is. Hi.